has found a sweet spot, trading snowflakes for rain and enjoying it a lot. With flour on his hands and sugar in his hair, he'll make you wish that you were there. He's got a YouTube channel by his same name, and he's sure having fun with this baking game. With the sound of the breeze and a heartfelt laugh, subscribers tune in from all the world around to see the Gringo baker in his new hometown. Well, I'll buy puree and banana bread. He bakes with flavors that go straight to your head. He's a charming soul with a passion true, bringing northern charm to a southern brew. Oh, the Gringo baker has found his sweet spot, trading snowflakes for rain and enjoying it a lot. With flour on his hands and sugar in his hair, he'll make you wish that you were there. Oh, the Gringo baker has found his sweet spot, trading snowflakes for rain and enjoying it a lot. With flour on his hands and sugar in his hair,
Good evening on this beautiful June 28th, 2026. Tonight we're going to make potato salad because it's almost the 4th of July weekend. And you want potato salad at your 4th of July dinner. Okay, so what I've done, tonight's going to be an assembly night. There's no real cooking tonight because I did it already. So I boiled the potatoes earlier and they're cold. I boiled the eggs. And I think I just realized that I left them in the house. I did. Have to forget something, right? Okay, listen, what I'm going to do before I go get those is I'm going to peel the potatoes, which I left them with the peelings on for a couple of reasons. One is I thought they might impart a little more flavor. And secondly, I knew I was going to be storing them in the fridge and I didn't want them to get all dark and gray and all of that stuff on me. So I'm going to be peeling these, which is going to take a few minutes. So what I'm going to do after I get this one peeled is I'm going to show you the process of cooking the eggs, which was in itself quite a challenge last night. It turns out that you can cook eggs for the same amount of time and all of that, but if they're not all together, they might cook at different rates. And you'll see what I mean a little later on in the video. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Linda. Let me switch to the overhead camera here. See how well aimed I am. Wow, not too bad. And what I'm going to do is slice the potato into potato salad sized chunks, which for some people are bigger than the chunks I like, I think, but they're going to be the size I like tonight. Because not only am I making this for this video or this show, but I'm also making it for my dinner. So those are the size pieces I generally like. In fact, a couple of those are a little bit big. Oh no, they're stuck together. Okay. All right, let me go get the eggs. And while I'm doing that, you can watch the process of cooking those eggs. To make our potato salad, we're going to start with boiling eggs. In these pans, we have 5 cups of water. And I'm putting 3 eggs in each pan. Now, the water is cold, as you can tell by the fact I'm sticking my fingers in it at this point. And in one of them, let's go with the red one. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Now, the purpose of adding the vinegar is there's a belief that adding vinegar to the water in which you boil your eggs will make them easier to peel. We're going to find that out. The red pan has the vinegar. And you can see each pan has 3 eggs. We're going to put them on the stove. The plan is that once these start boiling, we're going to shut the heat off, put the cover on, and let them sit for 12 minutes, at which time they should be a pretty hard-boiled egg. The timer has started. We are going to let them sit in that hot water for 12 minutes. Okay, you can see I have 2 bowls of water here, roughly the same size. I don't have 2 identical bowls, but I came as close as I could in the size. I don't think it's going to matter. The temperature of the water is what's going to matter. And it's ice water, so it's as cold as it can get. Okay. The first 3 eggs are cooked. We'll put those in the ice bath. This is plain water ice bath. And they're going to sit in here for 10 minutes. The ice bath serves a couple of purposes. It stops the cooking quite quickly by reducing the temperature of the egg below the cooking point. It keeps the yolk from forming a green ring around it, and it might help the egg peel easier. Now we're going to take these eggs, the plain water ones, out of the water, and let's see how it peels. Well, it's coming off. It's not grabbing the egg as I've sometimes seen shells do. You can tell this is a pretty fresh egg. It has a very small air pocket. Okay, there's one. Now this one, the membrane is hanging on to the egg. So it's kind of messing up the egg a little bit. It's on there tight. This one has no air pocket. This one is very fresh. And that's another factor. Older eggs peel a little easier. So I think I read the other day, 5 to 7 days old are like the optimum age for hard-boiled eggs to make them easier to peel. Okay, so we've got those 3 eggs done. So let's take the other 3 eggs. These are the ones with vinegar. And let's see how these peel. This doesn't feel cooked. This feels very soft. I can't tell where I am. You can see the yolk move. So, that experiment is a failure. Okay, so what they told me was that vinegar in the water will help make it peel easier. And I don't know if that's true or not. But let's see if we can find out. I did notice that one thing they said about vinegar in the water is true. And that is, if any of the egg leaks out, the vinegar helps it coagulate quickly, and it doesn't amount to much of a mess at all, as you can see by that. And this is peeling okay. I'm not sure it's peeling much differently, if any, than it did with just plain water, but it peeled just fine. So let's try another one. Of course, we also did a cold water bath, ice water bath, for 10 minutes after cooking these. And the cooking process was boiling water, and then added the eggs and boiled it for 6 minutes. We then took it off the heat and covered it up for 6 minutes, put a cover on it for 6 minutes. That peeled really easily. And then put it in the ice water for 10 minutes. I'm seeing no tendency for the membrane to stick to the egg. So with just a small 3-egg sample, I can truthfully say there might be a difference. I don't know for sure. Okay. That last part was shot in my kitchen with my phone propped up against a some kind of container. I don't even remember what. So the quality is a little bit different, and the audio is also a little bit different. Now, let me catch up on saying hi. I said hi to Cheryl and Linda. So hi, Louisa, Anissa, and Linda again. How's everybody doing tonight? And I kind of let tonight's question out of the bag already, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just because principle. So the question is, does adding vinegar to the water that you boil eggs in make any difference as far as peeling the eggs go? Oh, oh, hi, Jim. Wow, I think I might faint. You can say hi to Cheryl too. Um, Partly because I cook them in two different ways. It's kind of, I can't give you a definitive answer tonight, but we'll get to that in a little while. It's a good thing my house is only a couple 100 feet away, huh? If it was cross town, it might have been impossible to kind of get the eggs here. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is get rid of some of these peelings. Good to see everybody here tonight. Okay. I should have peeled most of these potatoes before the show, but that thought didn't occur to me because, you know, that ain't how I think. I'm actually making two versions of potato salad tonight. I'm making the one I want, and I'm making the one my wife likes. They're slightly different, not terribly, but slightly. I meant annoying. Enjoying. Ah, I thought you said annoying, and I'm wondering what the heck that's all about. When we get to it, we have what I think is a great small channel of the week. It's a very new YouTuber. This was his first video, and it got my attention. And I found out tonight that he does have a new video coming out Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock Central Time. And um, uh, you notice how coordinated I'm not. When the time comes and the feature plays, you will see what his YouTube address is. And if you agree with me that his videos are pretty darn good, you might want to check it out. I know it was making my mouth water, and I had just eaten, so that's pretty good testament to the fact it's appetizing. In fact, while I'm still peeling these potatoes, then we'll jump right into that. And that reminded me, I do want to say that for the summer, I think I'm going to be doing half-hour shows. Because it's generally pretty hot in here. Although it's not unbearable tonight, it's only 95.5. So let me get that started.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. If you've ever wanted to cook great food for your family or your friends, but felt just a little unsure about it, this channel is for you. Hi, I'm Stephen Smith, and this is the Porch Light Kitchen. I cook right here on my patio in Oklahoma, and I've spent years figuring out how to make both old favorites and new recipes simple, practical, and actually doable. When my porch light is on, I am cooking, and you're welcome to. I'll show you how I cook in my backyard as I use a griddle, a smoker, a grill, and a pizza oven. This isn't about being a professional chef. It's not about fancy techniques or complicated ingredients. It's about real skills with real food, and understanding why things work, and building the kind of confidence that lets you walk into dinner with a plan and think, yeah, I've got this. Think of this like a backyard classroom. We'll try things, we'll learn from them, and together we'll make food you're actually proud to serve. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, subscribe and let's take this delicious journey together. And feel free to leave me a comment with anything you'd like to learn or see. See you soon.
Now I ask you, does that food look good or what? He has very few subscribers because, like I said, he just started like a week ago. But I think he'll have a substantial number of subscribers as soon as people find out about him. Well, hello, Solange. Yeah, I thought it did too, Cheryl. And I did check him out right away. And then when I did, I sent him an email. Okay. I'm actually going to speed this process up a little bit and save peeling the other half of the potatoes for after we've gotten this first one made. I don't know, Jim, they're going to make you even hungrier than my videos do, I think. I want to show you guys the overhead mount, but we'll do that in a little while when I can take one of these cameras off its stand. Okay, so I've got potatoes in a bowl, and I'm gonna put a little mayonnaise in there. Probably not enough, but we'll start there. And we'll take some of these eggs and slice them into pieces. I cooked the eggs two different ways yesterday. The first way was I put them in cold water and brought it to a boil, and then shut the heat off and put a cover on it. Cooked them for with the cover off. They sat in the hot water for 12 minutes. Then I took them out and put them in the hot water bath, which you saw all of that already. But 3 of them came out way too soft. And what I'm doing is slicing these eggs both, so they're 4 pieces lengthwise, and then slicing them across. And we're going to put a little bit of onion in it. I don't know, that's probably a couple of tablespoons in that amount. And then, because this is my potato salad, we're going to put green peas in it. My wife pretty much doesn't do this. Once in a while, she'll do it because I like it, but most of the time, it doesn't get put in unless I do it. And I forgot one ingredient. Yeah, the second way I cooked them last night, Cheryl, was I boiled the water, and then I boiled the eggs for 6 minutes, and again, took them off the heat, let them sit in the hot water for 6 minutes, and then put them in the ice water bath. And those seem to come out really, really well. All right, now I've got a couple of potato salad related tips I'm going to show you. So let's do one of those. If you're going to make potato salad, you have to start with the right potatoes. You want something like these gold potatoes, like Yukon Gold or something like that, because they're firmer and they don't mush up so badly when you cook them, and they don't soak up too much of the dressing. Cook them properly and they'll be great. That's different. I'm on a different camera because the first camera stopped working. And I don't know why, because I look at the back of the camera, so I can't tell at all why it's active or not. I actually need a few more peas in this. Oh, well, what the heck. No sense wasting that tiny little bit. And I'm going to put a little sprinkle of pepper in it. I think I'm going to put the pepper in it. Yeah. Not much. I think I might actually have a little bit too much mustard, but that's not going to bother anybody because I'm the one that's going to eat this. And it's not going to bother me. It turns out the potatoes you use does make a difference. These are like a, and they're not a Yukon Gold, but they are a gold potato. And let's take a look at the second tip. When you're making hard-boiled eggs, take your eggs and let them warm up to room temperature before you boil them. Failure to do so can result in cracked shells, rubbery eggs, and uneven cooking. Let them warm up to room temperature before you boil them. I suspect probably that phone's battery died. It's my newest phone, but it's been eating the battery in less than a day lately. And it was fully charged this morning, but this morning was quite a while ago at this point. Okay, I've got another thing to do here. This is my new Buy Me a Coffee. Now, I've had a little ad that I saw on my Buy Me a Coffee ad, and I don't like it. For one thing, I don't like the fact that I'm coming to you asking you to donate to support the channel, but I really don't like that one because it has no personality and it's just images. If you should decide to donate to the channel, it does help me buy new equipment and updated software. And I'm going to leave two ways to do that. One will be a QR code for Buy Me a Coffee, and the other one will be the email address for sending me money on PayPal should you decide you'd like to go that route. There's no obligation, of course, to donate to me, but if you do, it's greatly appreciated and it helps support the show. Thank you. Okay. Now, I have received a donation, but I never know whether I should publicly say who did that or not. So I'm not going to. I just want that person to know it's greatly, greatly appreciated. The room temperature egg tip was something that I pretty much learned while doing this. I really didn't know that. It makes sense because what can happen if you take eggs directly from the refrigerator and put them in boiling water, that's a pretty good thermal shock. So they can definitely crack. I had one do that last night, and it was at room temperature. Can't imagine what it would have done if it wasn't at room temperature. Wow, this potato's got a great big black spot. Or I should say had, because it doesn't have it anymore. As I said, I should have peeled these potatoes before the show. I didn't want to peel them too soon because I wanted to keep the skin on, like I said, to help keep them from turning gray. Because there's not much that's less appetizing than gray potatoes. Okay, I'm almost done peeling this potato. And of course, I'm trying to think of things to say. Uh, we're getting near what may be the end of the show. That's usually how I'd be peeling them too. I would have peeled them beforehand while they were still raw. And I was even thinking of cutting them into small pieces, but I was reminded that that might be a good way to get mushy potatoes. And some people, I don't want to mention any names, like potato salad hot and mushy, like it's mashed potato salad. Um, that's certainly not my style. All right, let me answer the question that I asked earlier, which I really kind of answered in the original recorded video. But here it comes. There's a belief that adding vinegar to the water in which you boil your eggs will make them easier to peel. The 3 eggs here, here, and here are the vinegar cooked ones. This one, and this one were cooked without vinegar. And you'll notice that there's bits and pieces of the white that are missing. That's because the membrane stuck to it. And there's no such missing pieces on the other 3. So it sort of looks like the vinegar did help. So basically, I didn't come up with a good answer to that question, partly because I cooked the eggs a different way. And the different way I cooked them might have had as much or more effect on how easily they peeled than whether there was any vinegar in the water or not. It took you long enough to learn to like it cold, Anissa. Used to just gross me out. What I want to do in the future is do that experiment again, but do it with one type of cooking the eggs, like put them all in boiling water, but in 2 separate pots. And that might give us a better difference. I did ask ChatGPT the question of if it made a difference or not. And ChatGPT said that there is no real evidence that it helps. And I did see, as Cheryl just said, some people put salt and some people put baking soda. Although I don't see a lot of reference to the baking soda, and I have, the salt. Believe it or not, the potatoes are finally peeled and cut up. I don't like much of anything. Oh, well, now you're getting fancy with organic and free range and pasture grazed. Although that's usually cows, and cows don't lay eggs. Bringing them up to room temperature does make a heck of a difference for several reasons. One is if you drop a cold, straight out of the refrigerator egg into boiling water, you're going from, in my case, 36 degrees to 212, and that's a heck of a temperature shock. And so they crack. Now, if you have vinegar in the water when they crack, it will coagulate the egg white and they don't run all over the place. But I had one even last night that was room temperature crack when I put it in the boiling water. And let's see, it must be city chickens with pastures. I started to say something about room temperature eggs. Oh, I was going to say, it also can result in uneven cooking. Some will be cooked faster than others. And another thing that makes a difference as far as that goes is the size of the egg. If you put in both like large and extra large or large and jumbo, the large are going to be cooked before the big ones. And somebody like Cheryl with chickens might discover that on their own. Okay, let me throw some mayonnaise in this one. This one probably gets a little more mayonnaise because my wife likes mayonnaise. And I tend to like it a little on the dry side. And I will put the mayonnaise back on the ice because I don't have refrigeration in the studio. A little bit of egg, tiny bit of butter, tiny bit of mustard, pretty much just enough to color it. We'll stir it up a little bit, get an idea if we've got the right amount of mayonnaise in this one. The other thing about the type of the type of potatoes that you use, things like russet and stuff, they're really starchy potatoes. They tend to break up more, get a little mushier, and because they're starchier, they don't really take as much flavor from the mayonnaise. Yeah, when we had chickens, we got some eggs that make you wince for the poor chicken. They were like super jumbo eggs. This egg could have cooked a little bit longer, but it's all right. I do like the fact that the yolks don't have any kind of green around them. I'm not surprised the camera died tonight because we haven't had too many shows when there was no technical difficulty. And it was the battery. I plugged it in during one of those things I was showing, and it was definitely off, and it shows that it's got zero charge. Okay, now we'll just stir this up a little bit more. All right, I'll tell it, Anissa. One time, Anissa made some mashed potatoes, and I wanted to make shepherd's pie, and that mashed potato looks so good. I said, hey, can I have some of your mashed potatoes? And she said, yeah. Well, I apparently took too many. The green, I don't think it necessarily means it was overcooked. It means it wasn't cooled off fast enough. Now, if my wife was here beside me, I'd ask her if this has enough of anything, everything in it, but I'll ask her afterwards. Whew. I kind of wish I had a front camera going here. I'm going to try turning it on. What can I have you watch while I do that? You can look at the crew. And I'll tell you, because I can talk while I'm doing that. Yeah, you were pregnant. That was the same time you were crying at, what was it, Outback Steakhouse? Because the chicken was so good. I remember that. I thought that was one of the, I don't want to say funniest, because it's not, good to laugh at pregnant people, but it was different. I didn't remember anybody else crying over food, unless it was something that they were craving and couldn't get. I'm having flashbacks to you crying over that. And this phone is still starting, so bear with me a couple more seconds. And it looks like we might be able to get back live now. And as soon as I see the logo, the icon for what we're doing. And this is going to come in somewhere different now. It's not going to be camera one, I don't think. Let me see if I can find it. Is that it? Nope. Nope. Oh, there we are. It is where it's supposed to be. There. That wasn't too bad, but I should have plugged the camera in beforehand, and I won't forget that again. Didn't forget it this time, actually. I just didn't think about it. Let's see. I'm trying to think what I'm going to do next week, and I don't know that I have anything. The week after that, I'm supposed to have somebody standing right here beside me who's, in that neighborhood. And I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a great deal of fun. But I don't think I've got anything else tonight, which is about the length of the show that I was thinking I'd be doing for the summer anyway. I think probably it's not even as hot as it's going to get yet. So it's going to be unbearable in here during July and August. So I think that I'll plan on the show being a half hour long, and it may be a little longer than that. Like tonight is going to be 45 minutes or so. But I don't see staying in here for the entire hour if it's over 100 degrees in here. And I've got to find things that I can cook that don't require an oven. So if anybody has any suggestions about stuff that they'd like to see me make on this show, feel free to suggest it. And even if it can't be cooked in the time frame we've got, I can pre-cook whatever I need to cook. And I'll tape the part of it that you want to see, and then I'll cook it earlier on, and then we'll show the end of the cooking. A live of rusty cholesterol hash sounds funny. What Anissa's referring to is a hash that I used to make when we went camping. And we referred to it as cholesterol hash because it has a lot of salt pork and sometimes bacon and corned beef in it. And make ice cream. I'll look into that. But anyway, the cholesterol hash. One time, my wife and I were camping up in Maine, and my father and stepmother were also there. And I made some cholesterol hash, and I made a huge cast iron frying pan full of this stuff. And I just realized, hang on a second. Okay, I think it's out of the way. I just realized you guys were looking at the back of a camera. Anyway, I made this huge mess of this cholesterol hash, and I figured I had enough for several days. My father ate just about, well, the rest of us and him ate just about all of that that morning. I was amazed that it went that fast. But it's good stuff, known as cholesterol hash and sometimes known as heart attack on a plate. Okay, ice cream does sound good. I've seen a couple of recipes for making ice cream using Cool Whip, and I don't like Cool Whip too much, so I don't know if I'd like that or not. I might give it a shot. I've also seen it using sweetened condensed milk, so maybe I'll do a couple of experiments and see if that looks like something that we might want to eat. And if we do, then I'll make it. I just sent a screenshot to the family chat. Read that screen. Okay. What screen? All right, let's call it a night. Thank you for being here, everybody. And Jim, it was a pleasure to see you. We haven't seen you but one other time, and you did tell me you'd be here tonight. So I will see you also on Tuesday in the chat. Oh, great, great. Do that. All right. Let me hit the bye-bye button, and we'll see you all next week, and we'll see Jim and Cheryl during the chat during the week. Good night, everybody.
On the snowy hills where the pine trees stand tall, to a busy town where the coquille